Carol in St. Paul, Minnesota. Hey, Carol, what's up? Thanks for listening to AM 950.
Oh, hey, Tom. Just a minute, I'm going to take you off speaker.
Thank you.
Okay. You know, this whole thing with the social, you did it really good. But at the beginning of December, when they first started talking about this, when Thom Price was appointed to HHS, who is a guy who is really against everything that helps people other than really rich people. And the Center of American Progress put out a really good synopsis of what his plan was, so that it's another sequester trick where it will look like what everybody voted for was Trump's tax cuts, but and that they didn't vote to cut Social Security or Medicare, but the way he's going about it, it would automatically cut Social Security and Medicare by over $1 trillion.
Right, in future years, yeah. In
future years. And the way they do it is by the debt. But when you look at the debt, that is such a false thing to look at. We've got about a $19 trillion debt. Only $6 trillion of that is owed to foreign countries. The rest of it is owed to the American people in one way or another, and over $5 trillion of that is owed to intergovernmental things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, things that have been overfunded, that the money is, and that they've taken and used in the general fund, and yeah, they're going to have to pay it back, and that means raising taxes. But this is how to lie to the American people. I mean, I'm so angry at the way this is being presented. And so Donald can come out and say, oh, look I saved Medicare and Medicaid, without ever telling people that what's going to happen in future years is it's going to be cut, the hell is going to be cut out of it.
This is why I keep saying, Carol, to millennials, you are now experiencing what I experienced back in the 1980s. You know, this is Reagan all over again. He would smile, this big friendly smile, and say, we're going to reform Social Security. Oh, yeah, you're going to start paying taxes on your Social Security income, and we're going to double your Social Security tax. And we're going to raise the retirement age from 65 to 66 to 67, eventually. And that was all put into law in, what, 82, 83, as I recall?
Yep.
And it's like, you know, Reagan, oh, we're going to do a tax cut for the average working person. It's going to be wonderful. Everybody loves to have their taxes cut. And it turns out that it was a tax cut for those super rich. And, just like the one that Trump is proposing right now, another one. And what did it do? It produced massive income inequality, which I'm going to get into in the second hour of this program, et cetera. I mean, it's for anybody who was not, an adult or even a young adult in the 1980s, this is so deja vu all over again. It is mind-boggling.
But how do we, when somebody says to me, and I've had members of my family, well, Social Security isn't going to be there. How do you, and you say, no, that's not true. Social Security can never go broke because it's an in and out system.
Right.
And as long as there is a tax that you pay out of your payroll, Social Security will be there. It may not be there as much as it is now, but it will be. I mean, how do you convince people that have been convinced that somehow it's going to go away?
The one little, the big lies are always based on small facts. And the big lie that the conservatives use which is based on a small fact, a small reality, is that the Social Security Trust Fund is going to be exhausted in about, 20 years, around 1936, or 2036.
By the way, so the boomers paid for their retirement in advance.
Exactly. See, you understand that, Carol, and that's the response you have to give to people is that, yeah, that Social Security Trust Fund didn't even exist prior to 1983. It was created by Reagan's reforms, and it was created so that the boomers would not only pay for the retirement of their parents, but they would also pay for their own retirement. It was the rabbit going through the python. It was money set aside, taken out of boomers' paychecks so that boomers could get that money back for retirement. And that is supposed to go away. That doesn't mean Social Security goes away. It means that Social Security goes back to being a self-funding program like it was from 1935 until 1983. And if you do away, and by the way, if you make it so that people who make more than $118,500 a year are also paying into Social Security, which they're not now after that first 118 grand, If you make it so everybody pays the exact same percentage of their income, and Republicans are supposed to be big fans of a flat tax, and that's what this is. If you make it into a flat tax so that everybody pays that, that percentage in Social Security, including multimillionaires, including billionaires, and even assign it to capital gains income, then Social Security is not only solvent, you could radically increase benefits, and it's solvent until the end of this century, easily.
And also Medicare and Medicaid, the same
thing.
The same thing.
Yep.
And the thing where they keep saying that ACA ruined Medicare, ACA helped Medicare.
Yeah, well, see, what they say is the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, took $750 billion out of Medicare. And on the surface, it sounds plausible. What happened, actually, was they took $750 billion out of Medicare Advantage subsidies. In other words, they stopped subsidizing a small piece of the privatized portion of Medicare because those people are now eligible for Medicaid. Carol, thank you for the call.